Hello everyone. So I thought I would do a really quick video on how I've been planning out our new school year, so for 2018. So I do things pretty much the same every year, and I just thought I would share in case anybody is wondering or looking for ideas of how to kind of go about the whole planning process. Now, I find as my kids get older, I'm having to do a bit more planning, and whatever I plan can change throughout the year. We are really, really flexible, but I do like to have, set out sort of goals of what we want to do and some activities that we want to try and get involved with, and, books we want to read and all the rest of it. So the first thing I do usually is start a book list of the books that I'd like to read, which is this scrappy piece of paper here. And I scribble down and do a bit of research on the books that I want to read and for our read aloud. So I look for books that will cover all my children's ages. So my oldest is 11 and right down to my 4-year-old. And then I will look to see what we have in the home that we can read, because we have a pretty big library here. Books that we can borrow from the library or books that I want to actually purchase. So this year there is a few that I'm going to purchase, so they're not all here. So then I usually make a planner. So I've got this planner here which I made, and I've just bought myself a new binding machine, and this is one of the glue binders. And I'm loving it so far because we print a lot of the old classic books out. There's websites you can get them for free. So if I do it this way, and I much prefer it to the comb binding. So anyway, and I won't totally go over my planner, but I've made my planner so I can fill out the sections. Basically, I write in a proper list of books. I've got my calendar, and that kind of thing. I can do a separate video on my whole planner if anybody is interested. Then I start stacking up my books on the books we want to read. So I will have piles like my wish list of books and then my definite books. So, and I will even section them into things like just general reading or geography, history and that kind of thing. It's all a bit mixed up at the moment because I've been shuffling around, and I just decided to do this video at the last minute. This is one of the books that we're going to do this year, Number Stories of Long Ago. So I've printed this one out and did the binding on it, and I've got that ready. So this is my stack of definite reading, and I will go over in a different video exactly what we're using for curriculum. So I stack up so that I know the books that we're reading. So that's like our group work, our group read aloud work that we're doing. Then I have, because we use unit studies, I have found a few unit studies that are just a complete printable, and I will add library books to this, and we'll just see where it takes us. So and I will gather those up as part of my planning, and I put them in these, and I don't plan every single unit study. I plan out a few, so just to get us started throughout the year, and then we might decide we want to do something throughout the year, so I will just get that organised later on throughout the year. But I like to have a few ready to go, and these are topics that I asked the kids if they wanted to learn about these things, and they said yes. So usually I like to ask, well, we always ask what the kids want to learn about, basically. So that's those few things that I've just printed out because they were kind of just print and go type unit studies, and then I can get some books from the library to go along with this for read aloud. I also just wanted to add that when I am in the planning stages, if there's a program that we were using in a previous year that we weren't enjoying, or that I feel like we need a change, that's all part of my planning stage where I will research a new curriculum. Like, for example, at the end of this year, 2017, we changed maths program to Math UC because I felt we needed to. So as part of the planning process, I will research online. I will see what other homeschooling families are doing, what they're using, and anything that I think might work for my kids and what they might enjoy to make the homeschooling journey more fun for them and more enjoyable. That's all part of what I do in the planning stage. So a lot of planning for me is done online, and I look up on other homeschooling blogs and YouTube, homeschooling families on YouTube, and basically get book recommendations, get program recommendations. And so the choices that I have made and that the kids have made for next year is all done because I spent so much time researching and looking for the best things for us for next year. So so basically that's the first part of the planning that I organise. So the unit studies and the read alouds. We've got maths for Matthew C, and then so I've got 5 children. I've got 4 school age kids next year. So and my daughter's in here getting into everything. So I'll just show you the other thing I do, and that is I put stacks of the things that my kids are going to use. So I've already put my big kids stuff away in their work boxes, which my daughter's pulling out and probably putting glue on right now. But this is my 4-year-old. So she's prep technically next year. So in Australia, so she will be turning 5 halfway through the year. So I'm going to see if she's interested in doing stuff, but there will be zero pressure for her. It's only if she wants to, and actually she was doing stuff with us last year, so I like to have a whole bunch of stuff ready for her. So I'm going to see if she wants to start the Hooked on Phonics next year, but I won't go over exactly what we're doing, but I stack up. So that's my 4-year-old, this is my just turned 7-year-old, and he's doing grade 1 too. So this is his stack, and then I would stack up my 9-year-old and my 11-year-old, so I can see the other curriculum bits and pieces that I'm putting together. So if I find something that is appropriate for that child, or something that they're going to do, or a specific book that I might want them to read or that they want to read, I will put them in their stack so that so that I'm organised, and then when I'm putting it in their work boxes, that's where their sort of independent and other work goes. And so then I write down in my planner which days of the week we're going to do what, and roughly, because we are very flexible, roughly like I have a month-to-month calendar in here, so I write down goals for that month and books we want to read for that month and the unit study that we're going to be doing for that month. Okay, and the other thing I do for planning is every year I find as my children grow, I have to, my daughter is getting up. Hey, you better get down. Every year I have to adjust our routine a little bit because kids grow and change. So this year, so every year I print one of these out, and this is just a little guide for me to look at and to see what our goals are for that day. And as I say, we are very flexible, but this is vaguely, this is like my perfect day basically. So it shows, so I'll do every day of the week. So we're going for 5 days a week, but we're doing, this year we're doing things a bit different, and we're going to do 4 weeks on, 1 week off. But I'll talk about how we're homeschooling this year in another video. But yeah, so I write down in this, I'll do Monday, we do read aloud, narration, notebooking, unit study, blah, 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 and then independent work. And this is a guide for me and the children, and it makes it very clearly laid out, so it's easy for me to see. So when I'm in the planning stages, I tweak this weekly routine and to suit our needs, and we can adjust it throughout the year if we need to, but I like to, in the planning stages at the end of the year, I like to adjust and tweak it, add things in if we've discovered something new we want to be doing next year, and that kind of thing. So that is all I can think of right now, and the baby is climbing all over everything. So if you have any questions about planning for your homeschool year, or how we do it, then I'm happy to answer any questions, or if I've forgotten something. And I'm going to do another video really soon on on what we're using next year, what I've got organised for the kids to do next year. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. Bye.